Hey there, this is Beth Caldwell with Leadership Academy for Women. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend Scott Ferguson. Listen in and level up.
Time to Shine Today Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and thank you so much for joining us here. It's kind of a milestone moment for me with in our team here. This is episode 100, and I get to bring you one of my good friends and also just an overall fantastic person, Beth Caldwell from Leadership Academy for Women. She's a total go-giver, always leveling up herself, but also leveling up others. She is a person of integrity. She's so well-spoken. She's so approachable, which is just fantastic in this day and age. So I want you to, I took so many notes while I was interviewing her, and then as I re-listened to this podcast, I took even more. So I want you to sit back, relax, break out your notebooks, because here comes my good friend, Beth Caldwell from the Leadership Academy for Women. Hey, time to shine today, Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I am super stoked that I have my Pittsburgh connection, Miss Beth Caldwell, and she works from the ladies' side of the aisle. I'm just kidding, but I think it's awesome. She has the Leadership Academy for Women, and her energy, from what I've vetted her out, is so amazing. She's a speaker, she's an author, and her being the founder of the Leadership Academy for Women, it's a very innovative leadership development program for aspiring women leaders. She has an awesome 8-week course that is designed to help women understand their leadership style, develop authentic leadership skills, learn to lead others effectively. She, like I said before, this rock star is the author of more than 10 books on leadership, and I will put the link to her books here in the show notes. And she even just told me that she's sending me an autographed copy, which I cannot wait to get. I was just going to buy one and ask her to sign it, but she's a go-giver. So she's an author. She's an author on leadership, inspiration, and personal development. She believes that women can, and that's all capitals, CAN, do it all, just not at the same time. Her newest book, Women Lead, is now available in bookstores nationwide. And so without further ado, I'm going to welcome on my good friend, Beth Caldwell from Pittsburgh. Beth, please come on and introduce yourself. But first, what emoji do you use the most?
Oh, my goodness. Well, hello, Scott, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
So I would say when I was in my 30s, I used to use that emoji with the blinking lashes, like the flirty one. I love that one. But I say today, these days, mostly the sunshine one.
Sunshine? And of course, so if you listen to my podcast, which thank you so much, what's your favorite color and why?
Purple.
Purple?
No hesitation in answering that one. I love the color purple. You know what? It makes me feel strong.
It's regal. It's royal.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. So let's get into your origins here. Start younger, because you haven't always had the Leadership Academy for Women. What were you doing before? And then let's lead up into that.
Yeah. Well, I have been a writer for some time. In fact, I used to write books as a very young girl before I could even read. And one Christmas, for Christmas, my mother got me, this is dating me now, right? So when I was a little girl, I used to write books, and my mom would take a pair of scissors and cut holes in the paper, like she would fold it over and cut like a little half moon, and then tie my books together with yarn, right?
Right.
And then, so one Christmas, my favorite gift, still to this day, was a little box of those little kind of push pin things that you can sell.
Yes. Yes.
Little kind of copper colored things. I could find out what a little box of them. They probably cost 50 cents now. Maybe they were $9 back then. So I could actually have bound books. So I've been writing for a long time.
They're almost like tacks, right? In a sense.
It's the little folded things on the end.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I remember. You're not dating yourself. I'm right there with you, sister.
Favorite Christmas gift ever. I have always loved to write. So basically, my Women's Leadership Academy, I the way that I grew my speaking business was I would talk about what I wrote about, and then I'd write about what I talked about. And I kept seeing these leadership programs around in my town and seeing these women who were attending them and being very frustrated because it's very hard, Scott, to teach leadership skills from a textbook.
Sure.
And I really feel that especially young women, especially emerging women, it gives them a real leg up if they can learn leadership from somebody who's actually leading.
Love that. Love it.
So the idea kept coming to me, and I kept staying busy doing other things, but it was just bound to happen.
So how long have you had the Leadership Academy for Women?
So we started in 2012, and this fall will be our 7th class.
So what was because I noticed the next class you have is until 2021. Is that because of COVID-19, or is it?
It is because of COVID-19.
Okay.
It was supposed to be September of 2020.
Okay.
And right now, today, I'm supposed to be on my book tour. My book came out on March 6th on International Women's Day. So I had one book event.
Okay.
And then it's so funny that Memorial Day weekend was this weekend. So I was going through my clothes in my closet, and my significant, Paul, he comes in and he says, "Where did you get all those clothes?" I'm like, "They were packed for my book tour." I just unpacked them in the closet, right? So what we decided to do in agony and just don't know what to do, we are just going to start over next year on March 6th.
Okay.
And do the whole book tour. I've already missed about 11 dates. And I feel like everybody's going to push everything into September. No reason to do that. I feel like when things like this happen, I'll be in New York City. I will be in Palm Beach. I was supposed to be in Palm Beach this November. So it'll just all be moved till next year.
Well, I can't wait. I will be there for that. Absolutely, Beth. That's fantastic. And that, you know what, Squad, that's a total resilience right there. She's still progressing. It's not a fail, if you will, on Beth's part, but it's a fail of what is happening all around us to keep the safety precautions in place. But you see, Beth is failing forward. She's still moving forward. She's still, if you go to her website right now, women-leadership-academy.com, you will see that the next academy begins in September 17th of 2021. So she's still keeping it going during this time. That's something that is absolutely phenomenal. But Beth, let's take it back, because you're looking at 8 years that you've had the Leadership Academy for Women. What were you doing before then in the aha moment to start the academy?
I was doing the same type of thing. I was just teaching on different topics.
Okay.
So I had a Success Academy for Women. I had a Publicity Academy for Women. I had a Marketing Academy. So it was just taking it up one notch to instead of having like an 8-hour, my Success Academy was a Saturday afternoon, 8-hour workshop. My Publicity Academy was the same thing. So this is a lot more. Originally, it was 12 weeks.
Okay.
And we figured it out, refined it over the years, combined a couple things. We do a few things virtually now. So it was a big step up for me, though. I'll tell you, the first year that I decided to do it, I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I finally did it, and I had a web designer that I was working with. We got the whole description up on the website, and I set the price. It was the most expensive thing I had ever charged for at that time. And here's where my mindset was at that time. I thought, this is how I was charging $1,200 at the time. And I thought, well, maybe I could, let me put a $1,200 up, and then let me put it into maybe 2 payments, and then maybe I'll do a 3-payment plan, and I'll do a 4-payment plan.
Sure.
I overcomplicated it and worried about that cost. So it was very complicated to put all that code. I sent all the code to my web designer. I was so overwhelmed with it. I walked out the door to take the dog for a walk. I was gone for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, came back in. 2 people had signed up. In the time that I was gone, had not sent an email, had not advertised it. I didn't know either of the people. They had found it on Google.
Nice.
And I knew at that moment that this was truly something that was really inspired, and it really was something that I was meant to do.
So why women only?
Well, that's my area of expertise.
Okay.
And it isn't anything against men. I'll tell you, the business that I had before I was a speaker and a teacher, I was a publisher, and I published a magazine for moms.
Okay.
And so that was where my audience was at the time.
I love that. I love that conviction, Beth. I mean, Scott, did you hear that? I mean, she has nothing against men at all. But she really dug into her niche of what she's really good at. And that's fantastic. That's what we talk about here at TimeToShineToday.com. Do what you're great at. You know, that's what you did. So what do you think, Beth, makes a great leader?
Oh, I can tell you a lot of things that make a bad leader. In fact, people sometimes ask me, how did you train for this? I had a lot of jobs with bad bosses,
okay.
Right? So I think that what makes a good leader, obviously my big number one thing is integrity. But I think that especially today, as we're dealing with the crisis of COVID-19, what makes a good leader is somebody who is honest with themselves and honest with others and admits when they need help.
Love it.
That is a tough thing to do for anyone, but it's really, really important.
Okay. On that mark, then, when you're bringing people into your group, into your leadership academy, I apologize, is there a secret sauce that you use there, if you don't mind sharing, that you help your ladies find their blind spot?
Well, I think that's my most significant gift, is I can see the potential where in a person, where a man or a woman, where they can't see their own. And
how do you find that out?
I totally trust my I don't think I want to say intuition or my gut feeling or my sense, but I can very quickly, in working with somebody, see their potential.
Okay.
And the biggest problem that the Women in Leadership Academy have, but women across America have, is what I think is the worst part of society today, and that is what will they think of me? But what will he think of me? What will she think of me? What will they say about me? And it's really helping people to navigate through that.
Sure.
It's a really terrible disease that we have. What will people think of me?
Yeah.
Holds back so many people.
Oh my gosh, you're so correct. I mean, I tell people, like, when I get interviewed, of course, with COVID-19, I'm getting interview requests all the time, and what people laugh about me is that I have a duality, and one is I don't give a crap what you think of me as long as I have not disrespected you or hurt you in any way. I could care less what you think of me, because I'm living in the second part of that duality, is because I'm living in the service of others. If I'm serving people, I crack a lot of jokes. You know, I like to have fun. Some people are like, oh, I don't care what they think. You know, a lot of people will. And a lot of my clients that I coach one-on-one, they actually care a lot about what other people are thinking. And I just feel that if you don't disrespect the person or anybody else, that you're really kind of got to do your own thing. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that's a really healthy attitude. I think that the underlying problem is that the person isn't comfortable with themselves. You're clearly very comfortable with yourself.
Right. So you help them find that blind spot through your academy, then, to get comfortable with themselves, to level up, correct?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Be comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling. And that's another thing that I help women too. This is a really important aha moment, and you can actually see it in a person when they get it. And that is when I teach them, you make other people uncomfortable. You just being in the room, you just existing makes other people uncomfortable.
Right.
That's something that I had to grasp in my own life, because I want everybody, I want everybody to like me, and I want everybody to like what I'm doing.
Right.
But sometimes when you show up in your real, authentic, true self, here to do what you're meant to do, can make other people extremely uncomfortable. They can react to that in a way that makes everybody else in the room uncomfortable.
Sure.
And so what often women will try to do is just, they'll dim themselves so they don't make somebody uncomfortable.
Right.
Rather, just realize you're going to make them uncomfortable and keep moving on.
It's a lot of times the others' insecurities that are rising to the top that are making that happen. You know,
most of the time.
Yeah, I found that out. So you said you help them see their potential in I believe it's your intuition just because of your history and your track record. But are you asking like super powerful questions and listening not only with your ears and your eyes and other senses that you have? Is there a lot of questions that you're asking the ladies or even your clients that are powerful?
In the academy, it's a workshop based.
Okay.
The workshop, which I've really, really refined over the years.
Okay.
And so we have in each workshop 6, 8, 10 points that we make. I tell a lot of stories. And what's really nice is that they can then, it's either me or another instructor, they can then see what they're dealing with has already been overcome by somebody else.
Love that.
And the stories are so powerful.
That's beautiful.
And years later, people we have alumni events, how do you say that? That's all women. Alumnus, I think.
Alumnus,
I'm not sure.
I think.
Yeah, we have we'll call it alum. We have alum events, and they'll talk about stories that I told in 2013 that I don't remember telling, and they'll say, "Oh, I think about that all the time." So it's really powerful.
Is that part of like your graduates? Is that what you're kind of talking about? The people that graduate? I love that. I love it because I did vet out your website pretty good. So
we don't want to just see them one time for 8 weeks.
Gotcha.
We keep those relationships going. So somebody from class 1 could be connecting with somebody from class 5, 6, 7.
Gotcha. So I love that you keep them all connected and keep them a family. Do you have like women from different backgrounds, maybe even coming from abusive relationships, coming from not just the corporate culture? Like, do you have a plethora of women that come into your academy?
Yeah, so interesting that you're asking me these very intuitive questions. Back that day when I was sitting at my dining room table creating this course and announcing it to the world, I looked at a lot of other leadership courses because I was really creating this from scratch. Mm-hmm. And I thought when you're describing a workshop like this, a workshop series, you want to say, this academy is ideal for you if. That's really the way you write that copy. And I was sitting there imagining who did I want to have in this room? And I just wrote it out. Wow. You may be climbing the corporate ladder at your work. You may be a small business owner or entrepreneur, or perhaps you work in the government or nonprofit sector. Okay. That's what I wrote.
Sure.
About, 4 or 5 months later, the class was about 6 weeks in, and I'm sitting, I have another instructor teaching that day, and I'm sitting and I'm like, wow, there's 4 nonprofits, 4 corporate, and 4 entrepreneurs. It was just amazing.
Wow.
Exactly what I wrote is who came.
Gotcha.
The one thing that these folks have in common is they want to be better leaders. They want to be more respected. They want to improve their career. So they come from different backgrounds, but that's the one thing that they have in common.
Gotcha. So you're really building what you said with integrity and building them to be leveling up, like we say here, Time to Shine today, every aspect, if you will, of their life to become a better leader. Is that kind of what you do? So, not just not just business. I mean, you're working in their personal and family and everything, correct?
Look, when you learn to communicate and when you learn to negotiate and you learn to be confident and influence, you are affecting people at work, at home, and in the community.
Sure.
It's all around. It's
Absolutely.
all around. And no matter what your title at work is, you're a leader at home, at work, and in the community, because people are looking at what you do and how you handle yourself.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree. So if we were to get in our DeLorean with Marty McFly,
okay,
and we went back to the 22-year-old Beth, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on her to shorten her learning curve a little bit with the knowledge that you've gained through the years?
So 22-year-old Beth, wow. One thing I would say to her is success doesn't have to be difficult. Success doesn't have to be hard. And people who tell you that this is hard work, don't listen to them. And I think that meaningful work doesn't have to be difficult. I think it can be very rewarding. It can be, like this morning, I was trying to fix something on my website.
Right.
And it was very frustrating. If that's the hardest, that might be the hardest thing I do all day today. Like, how is this hard?
I know. I hear you. I have to go help my girlfriend's son move furniture into a place up in Orlando later this afternoon. I'm like thinking, man, that's hard work. Like having stuff that you have to do is not that hard. Okay, so that I love that. Don't think things too seriously, and success doesn't have to be difficult. That's fantastic. So we talk about the dash here, Beth, and how do you want your dash remembered? That dash between your life date and death date. How do you want that Beth Caldwell to be remembered? Maybe your epitaph, if you will. How do you want your dash to be remembered?
Wow, that's a powerful question. The first thing that comes to mind is significance. Significant. I believe that we come here, that we come to Earth and we have a purpose to fulfill. And I think that success truly is when you are embracing your purpose, when you're in touch with your purpose. And if you are forever worried about checking off all the boxes, I had all the boxes checked off by the time I was 25,
Mm-hmm.
Car, house, career, tall, dark, handsome, 2 kids, eventually there were 2 kids. And that can be very unfulfilling.
Right.
It can be very fulfilling for some people, but
Sure.
It can be very unfulfilling because you're just collecting things and you're just
Right.
keep getting the better car, the new windows or the new whatever. And so you can lose a lot of time getting wrapped up in those types of competitions.
Sure.
And so really thinking about why am I here and getting back to that, getting away from all the box checks that we're taught in school, that is what I think can be your most significant life.
I love that. I love it. So what is the big thing that Beth wants to accomplish in her life?
I want to take my Leadership Academy, my speaking international. I want to take that global. So I've been kind of international because I've been to Canada, but I want to get off the continent.
Get off the continent. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Going big. So if I'm at a networking event and I'm pressing flush with people, because we're allowed to do that again here in Florida a little bit more.
I heard,
and we're able, and I'm not talking in, I'm using my networking skills that I've been passed down by my mentors where I shut up and I listen. If someone says anything, what am I listening for that might make them a great prospect, referral, connection for the Leadership Academy for Women?
I haven't got a promotion. My coworkers keep getting promoted over me. All the men in my office get paid more than me. Somebody who is giving, and is really not taking up her space, but you can see that they have so much to give. They have so much to offer, but they haven't got the confidence yet to speak up and own it.
Love that. I love it. And there's a lot of it out there that they're just afraid to speak because that stigma that's kind of over, unfortunately females that's out there. So when you bring a new prospect into Leadership Academy for Women and you're putting them through the process, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
What do you think my potential is?
Love that.
What do you think is possible for me?
Yeah, I'm writing that down. So
what's possible? At the end of first class, a lot of times we do an overview of what we're going to go over, and at the end of that class, I say, "So I have a question. What's possible?"
Right.
So
powerful.
Exciting to think about possibilities.
It's so powerful. So, what is your definition of a life well lived?
A person who embraces their purpose.
Wow. I got, if you're watching on YouTube, I got notes like going out crazy. I'm getting me a free masterclass. I don't know about you people out there, but embraces their purpose. Love it.
I should have told you after a session with me, people they don't go to sleep. They either take an immediate nap. Okay. Or they don't sleep for a couple of days because they just get so many ideas, right?
I love it. I love that. And you're confident. And that's amazing that your self-confidence is where it's at. Being, and again, I'm not saying anything, but being a female that is approachable, You know, a lot of times I'm in the business, my listeners know that I'm in the business of luxury real estate, and I do deals with females all the time, and ladies and women, and, you know, I love everybody in the human race, but sometimes there's overcompensation, and I'm sure you have those people that kind of come into your leadership academy that have that, and it can start as an uncomfortable situation, if you will. And like, you are just amazing where you got that alpha in you, but you're approachable and smiling. And I love that. That's amazing. So if we were to remove your cell phone, laptop, internet, all those gadgets, what's 3 things that Beth can't live without?
Can't live without, number 1, the people I love. I'm not picking one of them. I'm picking all of them with me. Number 2 would be laughter. I have to laugh. And number 3 would be books.
Love it.
The first place that I'm going when they take down the restrictions is Barnes & Noble.
Being in Barnes & Noble. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, like there's actually one here in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, where I live. Like literally I think it's the only one down here, and it's walking distance from me. So I love it. They have a nice little coffee shop in there, and they did open, so which was nice. So we're going to, as we wind things down a little bit, we're going to go into our leveling up lightning round.
Okay.
So we could talk 15, 20 minutes on each one of these questions, but we got 5 seconds. And my producer is telling me 5 seconds.
All
so
right.
You ready to rock?
I'm ready.
All right, Beth, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Well, it's a piece of organizing advice, because in this head, there's all these ideas, same thing on my desk. So I learned from a professional organizer once. Don't put something where you think it should go. When you have something that you want to put it away, say, where would I find this? If I were looking for this, where would I find it?
Love it.
It changed my life.
Love that. Yeah, I had to hire one myself too. So trust me, it was hard for me. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Well, I don't know if this is a habit, but it's who I am, and that's optimism. I see the best opportunities in every situation.
Love it.
It can be annoying for some people, but that's who I am.
I'm right there with you as well. So not your book, not the flavor of the month that's out there. What is your kind of go-to book that's like mine's Andy Andrews, A Traveler's Gift, and my friend Bob Berg's The Go-Giver. What are 2 books that, or what's one book that's kind of like your go-to that you might hand somebody or you go to? I
love both of those books. I would say I have a lot of books, but I think the one that's been most significant for me is a book called Coach Yourself to Success.
Okay, gotcha.
Coach Yourself to Success helps me with those thoughts in your mind, right?
Got it.
To stay on track.
Beautiful. What's your favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time and or money to? Kiva.
I love Kiva.
Kiva?
Kiva, you can help somebody they make it so easy to make a difference. And you can help people globally, and you can watch their progress. Really great. Also founded in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
love it.
Very cool.
So if you could be one age for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, one age for the rest of my life, 38.
Okay, that's a great age. That's a great age. So last question, what's the best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I've heard you ask this question before. So my favorite decade of music is the 80s because of the Madonna and all that. But truly, honestly, the best music is the 70s.
The 70s. For me, 80s is awesome because so much like rap music came out and big hair bands and stuff like that. But like the 70s, you had pure music. You
could have the Carpenters. Yeah. Like you could have the Carpenters, or you could have Heart.
Yeah, or the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
You had disco and everything else. So Beth, tell us how we can find you, please.
So if you are a professional person, find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And if you're on Facebook, I have an inspirational group on Facebook called Monday Morning Mastermind with Beth Caldwell. Okay. Every Monday I put a video in there. I put happy and inspirational messages in there every day. And if you're interested in Leadership Academy, go to Women's Leadership Academy.com, women-leadership-academy. I'm sure you'll put that link in the notes.
Everything will be in the show notes, people, and including a link to her book. And for my giveaway, what I'm going to do is the first person that actually comments, because my social media is not where it should be. I just hired a company that's actually ramping me up. Thank you very much, Stigma. That's a shout out to you. But the first person that comments on this post in the Facebook Time to Shine today, I'm going to send them a book that is going to be mailed to Beth, and then I'm going to send her postage. She's going to sign it for you and then mail it out to you. So I'm going to send that out to the first person that comments in the Time to Shine Today Facebook group. And Beth, if you could please leave the Time to Shine Today squad one last knowledge nugget that you want them to take with them, internalize, and take action.
Be who you're meant to be.
Love that. Love it. Folks, squad, we have had a fantastic, serious free coaching / masterclass with my friend Beth Caldwell, who wants you to embrace your purpose. You ask yourself what your potential is and then take action on it. And if you're a hardworking female that's getting passed over, that's not getting the raises, you're just feeling even down in the doldrums, make sure you reach out to the Leadership Academy. Look in the show notes down below. I'll make sure that you get in touch with Beth, or just reach out to Time to Shine Today, and I'll make sure you get with Beth, and because she will definitely be able to get you to, she'll see your potential, she'll help you find your blind spot and help you push through. Remember, people, that success does not have to be difficult, and actually just listen to your intuition and forget about the naysayers. So, and Beth is just amazing. I have just a chock full page of notes, and she's so humble yet so hungry to want to help people. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. And Beth, you're part of our squad now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott.
We look forward to having you back again, too. So you have to promise you'll have to come back.
I'm going to have coffee with you at that Barnes & Noble when I'm signing books there.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I can't wait. We'll talk soon.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.